right, you guys, well, welcome in today. Please, will you guys help them find some seats? My name's Nikki. I'm Nicole Bylina-Streets on there, but I prefer to go by Nikki. That's just who I am. I'm going to do a presentation today on academic performance and students' beliefs about themselves. And what a lovely piggyback on what we just saw Dr. E finish with. Didn't you see joy in all of those children's face on the screen? Like, it's so wonderful, right? And I would love to see some kind of statistics or some data on that, like how much their performance in school has risen since being like involved in some of these community events, right? When you feel like you can succeed at something, like it just raises everything. And maybe you don't get that passing score, but you kind of feel better about yourself when you just complete it, right? So we're going to talk today about student efficacy and how that looks in your classrooms, okay? I do want to acknowledge my friends Morgan and Borna and Madeline, Natalie. Some of them are in the room, but I'm going to go solo on this one, and they're going to present at different times throughout the day. Ooh. Maybe, oh, okay, okay. All right, so we want to take a moment to open up this session to just do a think about, right? Just think about these things. You don't have to write anything down, and just kind of like fill in the blanks. They call this a because, but, or so activity. This is something that you can use with your students kind of like as a bell ringer, right? When they come in, sit down, because, but, or so. Students' beliefs about themselves can affect their academic performance because, ... Students' beliefs about themselves can affect their academic performance, but, ... You see how we're changing? And students' beliefs about themselves can affect their academic performance, so, ... And look at how just one word can kind of change the context of each of those sentences. So just take a moment and just think about how you would finish those sentences. You can think about yourself as a learner. You're all engaged in professional development today. Even though we're teachers, we're all constant learners, right? Think about your students. You can think about your past experience. Does anybody want to share like what is their favorite or what they were inclined to answer first? I know I tend to go to the but. But to me is like a negative, right? Yeah, okay, they can do this, but like I hate to say that. I try to be mindful of myself when I talk to my children, right? My own personal children. I love you, but it's kind of negative, right? I love you and, right? That's what I try to change my wording on that a lot. Anybody want to share?
I'm more inclined for this, so.
Okay. Do you mind telling us why?
Well, because they can have certain beliefs about themselves, so I need to monitor what I say and how I interact.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's like the ones that I can control, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I like so too, because don't you feel like it's forward facing, right? It's like moving in the direction that you want them to do. It's not going back or staying stagnant. It's kind of like, so let's keep moving along, right? We're all going to face pitfalls, and we're all not always going to be like so happy about the things that we're going to do or confident in the things that we're going to do. So what are some things that we can change along the way? Anybody else want to share before we move on? Yes.
I was going to say, it reminds me of a poster that says, I don't know this yet.
Oh, I love that.
Not set in stone, but it can evolve in transition.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I think that should be a present for us, right? We should all have that in our classrooms. Wait time, wait time, wait time. All right. So obviously, how could you use it in your classroom? And I love your examples, right? Not yet. Growth mindset, we've heard that before too, right? But we're going to keep working so we can get to that point in our lives. And it's not even just school. It could be so many other things in our life, right? All right, so you're all in these lovely groups. I want you to take a moment and turn and talk to the people at your tables. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, I respect that. Sometimes I'm alone standing up here. Sometimes I like to work by myself too. So inward reflection, if you want to talk to yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. I want you to just share your answers to the because, but, and so activity about your student beliefs. How are they similar or different? Because you might share some of the same kinds of thoughts with the people at your table. You might have differences, and that's okay. What do you notice about because, but, so activity? What context do you think you could use it in? So we've kind of answered those things, but this is a less intimidating way for you to get to talk to your peers about those answers. So are you guys okay with this slide? Just talking at your group. So I'm going to take you back because I like this slide right here because it gives you a little bit more direction in that. So take about like 3 to 5 minutes. Talk with your group. If not, that's okay. You can talk to yourself. I'm going to come around and monitor so that you're kind of forced into the activity. You might not feel confident yet, but or so I'm going to help and encourage you with that conversation. Go ahead. All right. So thank you for taking the moment to talk with I love how like it started off slow, but it like rose, right? And even if you weren't necessarily staying on task with this specific slide, that's okay, because isn't that what learning is all about, right? Is being connected with your peers. And when you have these connections, like instantly your efficacy grows, right? You're like, I could do this, right? Like I'm sharing this experience with so many of these other people in the room and I got this, right? I love some of the conversations I heard. I heard some agreements. I heard some more poster ideas that we should put so in the word solution and bold it. I love the different spin on using but. It doesn't have to be negative, but it is definitely, we want to be cognizant and let people know that these are the things that exist, but these are other things that could be obstacles, right, to an end goal. So we definitely want to be cognizant of that, and I love all of those perspectives. So we're going to, let's see, maybe I'll hit the right button. What is your main goal as a teacher? Don't think too hard about this, right? This is a quiz, but don't think too hard about this. How many of you in here teach the content? That is your main goal as a teacher. There's no right or wrong answers. Love it. What do you teach, sir? Social studies, teaching the content. Anybody else want to be brave and say they teach the content, like that's their main goal? All right, so how many of you teach the student? I see like half hands, right? Half hands, because you're not quite sure if that's the right answer. Guess what? Those are your only two options. So let me go back here. Let's see if you're more confident the second time around. How many of you, your main goal in teaching is to teach that content? Ooh, we got another hand. What do you teach?
Oh, I'm not in like teaching it, but
okay.
I will be
Teaching English. Teaching social studies. Oh, yeah, we got supporters in the house. All right, how many of you teach the student? Oh, look, we got a little bit higher hands right here, a little bit more confident answers, right? I mean, ideally, aren't our jobs to do both, right? But isn't it easier to teach your student the content if you kind of help them succeed in it, right? And you know who the person is that you're teaching? Absolutely. All right. So one key is self-efficacy. And if you're anything like me, like I look at this word, I'm like, what does this really mean, right? Like legit, I was telling my teaching partner, Natalie, I had to Google it this morning. I'm part of this presentation. I was like, what does self-efficacy really mean? Because I don't use this in my natural language, right? It's just the students' beliefs about themselves. That was that first slide, right? Like, what do students believe about themselves? What do they think they can take on and conquer and handle? So there you go. That's what it is. And we all have different like motivators that make us believe in ourselves, right? Okay. So these are predictive outcomes of how one believes in themselves. Maybe they've done it before, right? Like you know how when kids learn to tie their shoe, it's just that first time they're like, I did it before, and then they tie it again and again and again and again, because they know they've done it once, so they'll do it again and again. Vicarious experience, observed experiences, watching other people do it. I had a really nice conversation with Michaela over here. Sometimes people believe in themselves because they just saw somebody else in that role that represented who they were like, right? They were represented in that space and that time. So they're like, hey, I use this term, well, if so-and-so could do it, I could do it, right? Which could be good or bad, but it is part of self-efficacy. Social persuasion, right? You kind of are like roped into it. People are saying like, this is what you should be doing. And your affective state. Physical, your emotional sensations. Oh, I did it the wrong way again. For example, okay, we talked about this, right? The tying the shoe. I have designed professional development for. They were successful, maybe unsuccessful, but can you learn from your unsuccesses? Absolutely. What type of feedback did I get? How can I use it to make things better? Me in this experience right here. Vicarious experience. I'm a doctoral student at UNLV. but one of my mentors, she and I did our master's degree together. I am still a children's librarian together. I'm like, she can do it, I can do it, right? We have similar experiences. Social persuasion. Has anybody ever told me that I'm actually capable of doing it before? So I love this example. You guys don't get it, but Dr. Varner, which he doesn't like to be called that, Kenny, told us we had to do this. So he persuaded us we could do it. Or sorry, he gave us that expression that we could do it. I know when I started my program, Dr. Bickmore used to teach at UNLV. And he's like, Nikki, you come to all these events. Why haven't you started your PhD program yet? That was never in my vocabulary. It was never something that I wanted to do. But because one person saw me attending something and said, you have this within you. Why aren't you doing this? That was just one kind sentence. And your affective state. How do you feel about the idea of presenting PD? Are you confident or not confident? I'm worried about people looking at me, right? All of these things affect how we feel. So if we're aware of what's driving our students and even us, we can help to kind of overcome some of these hurdles and obstacles. Okay, so now it's your turn, I think. Let's see, how are we doing on time? We got 5 minutes. Ish? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. We're gonna work in groups again. Form a group. We're gonna do, should we do the groups or should we just do at the tables? I think so too. So we were gonna do elementary, middle, secondary, but sometimes you guys wind up in those same kind of groups, because you have like minds, I don't know. We'll just stay at our groups, it'll take. So I want you to brainstorm together. In your class, how can your classroom affect the 4 components of students' self-efficacy in your content area? Just write as many examples as you can on this mega post-it we're about to present you with. If this is my way of thinking, I would just do the 4, right? Like a grid, how can we affect them? And then you're just gonna write as many as you can. Once you have it up, we're gonna put it on the wall and do a little gallery walk so that we can see everybody else's ideas. Just kidding. So let me bring you back here, because if you're like me, I need visual evidence, right? I'm like, what are we doing again? Basically, in your group, you have a giant post-it. You're gonna talk about these 4 ways that kids are affected, their self-efficacy is affected, and how can you do this in your classroom? Okay? And once you're done, just come put it on this back wall where the people are standing, and we will decorate this classroom. And if you don't have anything that's on paper, is that okay? Sometimes we have to build that for our students. It doesn't always have to be something tangible that they turn in. If you're able to talk to a student about whatever the concept that it is, aren't you building those relationships with the kids? Aren't you making them feel like, hey, I could do this? And then maybe the next time there is an assignment, if there's not it's not so intimidating to get something down on paper, right? We were just talking in class last night about a lot of times we learn by just listening and speaking with our friends, right? Our peers. It doesn't always have to be tangible. I know, I told you, we're working in a group. Chart paper is my nemesis. I see chart paper and I get hivey. So to see you guys writing on chart paper really makes me crazy. Because what happens to this chart paper when we're done for the day? Yeah, and that bothers me a little bit, but that's just my own personal qualms. So, reflections and questions. We're gonna do this in a moment. I want you to watch this little video that our colleague Borna found, and just the happiness the student feels from fulfillment of doing some hard work. Okay, I'm nervous about this because, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. I talked it up and now it's well, where is it, right? All right, well, just kidding. I'm gonna just let you guys believe that this child was so full of joy and he is excited about it. It was a boy. Do you guys have any reflections or questions that you have of me? Or things that you want to share that you found out at your tables that you were in love with that concept? How many people just want to get up and go to the bathroom and move on to the next PD? Well, thank you guys for your hard work and talking to each other, and hopefully you have a successful rest of the day. We're gonna hang these up so that other people can just like see it, because sometimes just seeing things, right, helps people process them and think about them in their own learning. So just leave all that stuff there. We'll take care of all the rest. And is everybody good with where they're headed to next? Okay. Oh, you guys stay. That's right. Well, then you'll get to see us put it up, and you can ruminate over it all day long. Yes. Oh, she's still working on hers. Thank you guys for your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah.